Hello friends, and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are doing a pick a card reading on where is your path taking you. So this tarot spread is based on the Chariot. It is a tarot spread that is based on a spread I found from Labyrinthos. It's a good website. I'll put it down below in the description. And since it's based on the Chariot, I thought I would show you the Chariot from each one of these decks. So the Chariot is a card about movements. It's about your path. It's about figuring out your way. And when we're talking about where your path is taking you, this is the card that we're talking about, the path card, the path maker. So the spread itself, none of these cards have a black and white horse on them, but the traditional either has a black and white horse or a black and white sphinx. But you can see, like, we've got these two, we've got, what are these? Pike or walleye, or you can tell me if you're a fish person, let me know. Moving this boat forward. The motorcycle, you know, we've got the black and white kind of like this way or this way, and then we've got these two little monsters in this deck. But it's also a nice way to show you the artwork from the deck so that you can use that to choose. The other thing I wanted to tell you is, you know, if you are interested in these types of readings, please like and subscribe. If you leave a comment, I will pull another card just for you and put it in the comment under your comment. So limited time offer, not really. So just let me know if you like these types of readings. Great. Oh yeah, down in the description, I've got the timestamps for each one of these. If you like to choose with objects, I'm going to add objects as well. We'll just do everything here today. So for this Chariot, this is Monstarot. It's a monster tarot deck, but you know, cute monsters. We've got rhodonite egg. So I'm just going to put that maybe right there. For group number 2, the Chariot, I have this green egg, which is malachite, because it's more of an earthy deck. That's my thought process. For group number 3, this is, what is this? Tarot of the Divine? Yeah, Tarot of the Divine. It is a fairy tale and folklore deck. And for that, because it's so layered and it has a lot of depth, I got Tiger's Eye. So if you're still not sure which to choose, I usually do a breathing exercise, and you're welcome to do that with me. We'll just close our eyes. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and release. We're going to release out any tension. We're going to set the intention that you will get the messages you need to receive. Take another deep breath in and release. Okay, now open your eyes, and wherever your eyes are drawn, that is the group for you. Thank you so much for being here with me. I appreciate it, and I will meet you at your reading. Hello, group 1. Let's talk about where this path is taking you. So we'll just do a little shuffle here. And the first card that I want to get out here is you. So you, where are you currently, current state of your journey? And we have the Queen of Wands. This tells me you have things in hand. Maybe you don't feel like it, but you do. The Queen of Wands, queens create. So I love that about the queens. They're probably my favorite of that type of card, of those like face cards. I love the whole creation thing. So your journey is in your hand. That might be a little bit scary though for you, because when things are in your hand, sometimes we have the propensity to self-sabotage, because we just get so scared about the potential. We get so scared about what could be. And we know that like the further we progress in our journey, like the farther we fall, or at least we think that way, okay? So it is definitely very common to not even get started on something when you have an idea, but trust me, you definitely can handle it. You can handle it with grace. You can handle it with creativity. When I said queens create, also wands is the suit of creation. So there's a lot of energy here in creation and creativity, of making your own way. And that might be a little bit scary. And the part here that you need to know is you need to trust in your ability to think outside the box. You know, there's whole threads on Reddit. In fact, I think that whole website is kind of about like taking the temperature of the room, figuring out what other people are doing, the energy that's going on there. You don't need to necessarily do that. You might do that as kind of like a focus group, as kind of like a think tank for you, but ultimately you need to step up with your own confidence. Believe in yourself, okay? I love that this Queen of Wands has the little lion here because it reminds me of the Strength card. It kind of calls back to the Strength card for me here. She's holding a flower, like her destiny is in her hands. The hardest part of the Strength card is to remember to kind of keep that beast in check. And that beast is our own mind. It can run wild sometimes, so sometimes we feel like we're alone on our journey, and we've got our little buddies here. We've got our little friends who are in awe of you and who look up to you. And I want you to appreciate for a moment how far you've come and where you're going. And, you know, when things get overwhelming, that's okay. Just stop for a minute. I also love the Queen of Wands here because it reminds me of like, you know what? If you need to be bougie for a second, if you need to take care of yourself, if you need to stop for a moment, whatever that looks like to you. Some of you might have to, you know, get some cheese fries. Some of you, it might be do your nails, or get a facial done, or take a moment, you know, take a bubble bath. Something to remind yourself, to get you back into that frame of confidence around yourself. And I think it's also important when we do those little things of self-care, it helps us to reset and remind ourselves of our value and to not settle for things. Keep persisting, keep going in your path and your desires and your goals and what you want. So we're going to do dark horse, light horse. So we're inspired by the Chariot today. And that's what's on there. We have the dark horse. The dark horse is a distraction. What is pulling you away from your path? What is a distraction? I know what my distractions are. You probably do too. We've got 10 of Pentacles, so we can have a family. Oh gosh, we have the Sun. Okay, so this definitely tells me that you having that path before you and like that end goal and where you want to be and visualizing that is great, but sometimes we feel like maybe we bite off more than we can chew, or it becomes overwhelming, or it's just too big for us. So I think that the distraction here is that, you know, you're not at the finish line yet. You're not where you want to be. When you look at your goals, because I think you have some very lofty goals. I think you have some very big goals. I think you have goals around money, around your family, about where you want to be, around the type of life that you want to live, and what is blocking is still coming back. Like all of these are beautiful, beautiful cards. So the only thing that's coming back is like standing in your way is yourself. And maybe you know, when we take a step, you don't have to see the full staircase to start taking that first step. I know people who have wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer, and they have gotten just overwhelmed by the amount of time that they would have to train to do that, or the amount of time that they have to be in school, and they just decided not to do it. And the reality is that time passes anyway. So you know, don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Don't be afraid to have these goals or of what you want or where you want to be. And also, again, I kind of feel like that whole like what I was saying with Reddit is society will tell you like certain things, but it's based off of their values. It doesn't have to be based off of your own. You don't have to live in fear that you can't have this, so you'll never start on it. Maybe this isn't where you're going to end up, but that is going to be determined by you. It's going to be determined as you start this journey, and then you're like, you know what, I didn't really want this house in this particular city. In fact, I'm more excited about you know, going to New York and living in like an apartment or whatever that is. Again, I'm just getting all of these because this is supposed to be the dark side, and we have some, like the Sun card is the most beautiful card in the deck, and when that's your dark side, I think it's yeah, look at this victory here. Look at this victory, riding off into the sunset, finding that victory. So when we have the sun over here as like a negative or a dark side, it is really, I feel like it's more of a confidence issue. And then we have the Six of Wands. This is the light horse. This is what takes you to where you want to go, your desires, your goals, what will bring success and focus. And the card itself is the success card. It's finding success. Look, Wands again. We have this creativity coming in, your mind, your creativity. Don't second guess yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe in your goals. Believe in who you are. Go after it. Get what you want. Take your victory lap. When you have a victory, again, going back to the confidence thing, maybe write that down in a journal of like, hey, you know, I did this today and I realize that's a small win, but a win is a win. And the thing with these wins, as you're progressing on this path and you're progressing on your way, is that there's like a snowball effect to that. So maybe it's in your career and the head boss like said hi to you and they know who you are. That's a win. You know, if you feel good about it, that's a win. I mean, maybe it's not your promotion and you're not the head boss yet, but that's a good thing, and take that victory lap and hold your head up high. So you're an obstacle. What is an obstacle that you'll need to overcome? And we have the Seven of Swords. Interesting that came out in reverse. I'm reading all of these upright, and I thought they were all upright, but I must have shuffled them wrong. Sorry about that. Seven of Swords is sneakiness. So when I am just looking at this from your perspective, from you, the Seven of Swords is second guessing yourself. And it might be because there is an influence from somebody else. Now, influences are great, but we don't always know what somebody else's perspective is. So they might be afraid because of your dreams, because they themselves had those same dreams and it never came true, and they felt like they were locked in place. Or they might be afraid of your dreams or be giving you some bad advice around your dreams because they themselves are jealous, because they see you here, this Queen of Wands, like forging your path forward. And when I say Queen of Wands, you don't have to be a divine feminine to be this. You just have to be somebody who is creating your own space and pushing it forward. Also, just side note, Queen of Wands, very attractive person. So this jealousy part here can be like, they're jealous over something that you can't even control, whether that's your genetics or, you know, you just had a good hair day or something. So what's standing in your way is really other people and their opinions. Just be careful, like when you're sharing your dreams. And I think that might be why we have the downside over here. You remember this was our distraction, what's pulling you away. Also, you know, be careful with your balance, your work and home life balance. You don't want to be saying that you're going to take on the world in your work situation and never put any work into it because you're being called away for you know, gaming, or I'm not necessarily seeing gaming over here, but you know, you're spending way too much time with maybe one person who doesn't have your best interest in mind. So I'm concerned about that with the Seven of Swords here, because the Seven of Swords can be a very sneaky card. So be careful of that, especially when that comes up in your obstacle and your challenge. But what's the next step? So the short-term focus here, look at this Five of Pentacles. Your next step, you might need to take a little bit of a break here. Your next step is, it kind of feels like currently you're in maybe a negative space over your goals, maybe because they are so big, and you're not sure how to be in a very practical mindset around them, in a very goal-oriented mindset around them, and that's okay. We can get a little moody about it, that's all right. We can get some maybe goals together, that's okay. You can even just like sleep on it, take a break, take some rest until you get your mind right. It's interesting, the Five of Pentacles comes in here. The fives are often like a part of the journey where we hit an obstacle, and sometimes it's some unforeseen and we don't know how to handle it. We don't know, you know, we hit this obstacle and we're like, oh, I'm gonna sit here and contemplate it for a second. Instead of going down the downward spiral of negative thinking, remember how creative you are. Bring the sunshine into it. If you have to take a break, take a break. If you have to step away, step away. If you have to be in a negative headspace for a moment, that is a very human thing to happen and a very human thing to do. And don't beat yourself up around it. We all have ups and downs, ebbs and flows, and we might be in a valley right now, and that is okay. The important thing is to trust and believe in yourself and keep pushing forward. The next time you feel healthy enough, the next time you feel strong enough, motivated enough to do it. However, you know, when I said that motivated enough thing, there might be little things here and there that aren't the most fun things to do. And I'll just take like weight loss, for example. It's not always fun to get yourself out of bed at a certain time in the morning and to take that walk, or to, you know, sometimes you just have to force yourself to do something, and sometimes you just have to push through those obstacles. So what I'm seeing here is like, yeah, it's a human thing. You got knocked down today. That's okay. You have to push through. Even what defines success is pushing through, especially when you don't want to. And then like, look at this path here. You reach an obstacle and you push through, and that makes your victory that much better. So keep going. You know who you are. You know what you want. You're gonna hit some times where things are gonna be turbulent. That's a very human experience. It's a very human thing. Give yourself credit when you do make it through there, and like definitely a victory card here. And then your final destination, where is this all leading you? We have the Four of Pentacles. It is leading you to success. So I love that we've got Pentacles here. We've got 3 Pentacles cards. Pentacles is about wealth. It is about health. It is about that physical. It is about those tangible things that we can hold, that we can touch, taste, and feel. The material, the manifesting, the bringing into the reality, the bringing into our everyday. The negative here is the overthinking, the overwhelming, and you just have to remember who you are and push forward to the success that we have. Material success. I'm seeing a lot of creative and material success here on your path with these cards. Creative, material, okay? Four of Pentacles is kind of a card of saving. It is a card of maybe holding back a little bit. So you might, on this particular leg of your journey, I mean, we have lifelong journeys. So at this moment, your final destination in this particular leg of your journey is having this money and holding on to it and saving it for the moment. It is a card of, it's a card of wealth. In the negative, it would be like you're holding on to it too much and not enjoying it and not spending it. And I just think that when it comes in as our final destination, though, it's just a reminder that I think in the past may have been spending a little too much, and to pull it in. And I think you'll be surprised by how quickly you are changing your fortunes around by watching what you're spending, by looking at what's important to you. If going to Starbucks every day or going to a coffee shop every day is important to you, or, hey, I can make this at home. What are the shifts? What are the changes that are important to make? It's funny how many times, it's just like kind of an aside here, but a lot of marketing where they're like for the cost of a cup of coffee a day. And I think a lot of times we have those decisions to make, like, well, is that something that I really want? Or is it worth it to have my cup of coffee a day? For example, athletic greens is one of those things where they say for a cost of a cup of coffee a day, they want you to kind of like phase out your coffee consumption and bring that in. But that's used all over the place. It's used all over the place for entertainment. It's used all over the place for very kind of pentacle type things, that entertainment, that what we consume, what we take in, what we want to bring in. But I guess where I'm going with this is that it's time to evaluate those kinds of things. What is it really worth to you? Is it really worth that? Or is there something else? So, a part of the journey here is maybe stepping back and looking at particularly your career, your money, your finance situation. Where are you spending money? Where is your career going? Where is all that going? Four of Pentacles as the final destination means amassing that wealth, means security. So we really have a lot of security here, where juxtaposing the Seven of Swords kind of energy, where when we lean into other people's opinions, I feel like there's a lot of insecurity. So I think on this particular journey, or where this is leading you, is into your confidence, into your understanding of yourself. The only card here where we really have we have some people here, or some fans here watching us, and we have our rock to kind of hold on to over here in the Five of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is our family, but a lot of this is a very individualistic journey, an individualistic path that you're on to find your security, in your money, to find financial security is what we have. Your final destination is financial security when you're using your creativity, and your confidence in yourself. So that's what I have for you, Group 1. I hope that you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, Group 2. So here is our Malachite, the number 2. Thank you for being here, and let's get started on where is your path taking you. So the first card we are going to get is you. We have the Four of Swords. So it may feel like you're sleeping. The Four of Swords is fours are about stability, And the Four of Swords is taking a rest. Now, there are a lot of people who have a very hard time taking a break and taking a rest. But it is essential. It is essential for growth. It is essential for movement, even though it doesn't feel like it. And I know it seems very counterintuitive to think that a break or a rest is essential for reaching your goals, especially in our society where we feel like we're go, 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 go. But right now, like, where are you currently, where you should be, and the state of your journey is just taking a break. Don't be so hard on yourself. Get a good night's sleep, get a good night's rest. And when you ever have an issue or you're encountering a moment where you're not quite positive what to do, sleep on it. And what I mean by sleep on it, I know there's a lot of times where we're like, we have those problems or we have those issues rolling around in our minds and we can't calm our mind down. That's what I think is amazing about prayer. A lot of times this Four of Swords is actually a knight in a church who has his hands in prayer. It's where you take all that anxiety, where you take all that thought, because swords is about thought, and you give it a rest. You put it in your prayers and offer it up to the universe to solve for you. Or you take it and say, you know what, I'm going to let my subconscious work on this. And I trust myself, so I'm going to release it while I take this moment of rest, because you need your rest, you need your beauty sleep, and just take that moment, take that break. It's okay. It really is. When you think about muscles, bodybuilders, when does that growth happen? It happens in that rest period. You will see them, yes, they are shredding their muscles while they're lifting all of those weights, but it's when the muscles have a moment to relax and a moment to rest, that is where the repair happens. So we need to rejuvenate, we need to repair, go along with the season, and do this little hibernation period. Now, it might be different periods for each one of you, but it really is kind of more dependent on how much you lean into it and allow yourself to relax, because I know that it might be difficult. So breathe. Dark Horse. So what is your distraction? What's pulling you away from your path and your journey? Look at this. I'm not surprised. We get Three of Swords, Four of Swords. Look at that progression. It almost looks like it is the same room here. Three of Swords is a heartbreak. I'm sorry. It can be something like you didn't get the job you wanted, or it can be to the most obvious on the nose part where somebody broke your heart. It can be like a love thing, or maybe you just didn't get what you thought you were going to get for Christmas. I'm not laughing. I'm laughing with you because I know what it's like to be in this Three of Swords. I know what it's like to have your heart broken, and for a myriad of reasons. And there's a myriad of reasons of having your heart broken. The thing about the Three of Swords, though, is it is in the past, and we need to allow ourselves to heal. That's why it's so important right now to allow yourself to rest, to put that healing in when I was talking about the muscles. So, we had something shredded, and what is our biggest muscle in our body, or our strongest muscle in our body? I think arguably some people say it's the tongue, but it's the heart is what I'm getting at. So we need to allow our heart to heal. The other thing is with our heart and our head, we got to get them on the same page. Because we store memories in both places, and a lot of times we work on the one and we have either like memories coming up. Swords would be memories, swords would be ideas. That's why I love that we have this journal here. We need to release those things, write them down is a good thing. I talked about prayer. Rest is a good thing, but we need to be able to like concentrate on both areas and release them in both areas. We need to let it go because it's something that's like an anchor. It's something that holds us back. And, you know, the best revenge is being happy and healthy and living that life and really wishing that other person well. I was watching, it was like a reel, I think, of this woman talking about her past relationships, and she had a bunch of them, and she's happy now, and she was talking about in her 20s, like, you know, sometimes we're the villain to other people too, and we have to understand that. And sometimes it's ourselves that we have to ask ourselves permission or grant ourselves permission to forgive ourselves and to move forward. But this is definitely an anchor that is harming us, that is hurting our heart, and then because it's hurting our heart, it's hurting our head too. So we need to release it. We need to let it go. It might also be a little bit of like fear-based things that are holding us back. Maybe it is, you know, a career situation where you go for a promotion, you didn't quite get it, and then you just spiral downwards that with negative thought and negative thinking. So this is a release of that negativity, of that negative thought. How are we going to do that? Let's work on that part. What is going to take you where you want to go? What is going to take you to your desire? How are you going to reach that goal? Woo! Flying out of here. 8 of Pentacles. Work, baby. Work it. I just heard like RuPaul in my head. You better work. So putting some work into some things. This might be also important, like it might be important for you to take a moment, to take a break, to figure out what your dreams are and where you want to work on things. Sometimes we get attached to like a heartbreak, or we break our own hearts because we're going after something that we don't even want in the first place. So I think that's what's really important here in this 4 of Swords, is to ask yourself, like, what is it that I want to invest in? What brings me joy in my work? Where do I want to take a class? What do I want to learn? How do I want to push myself and pursue new things? In this case, in this 8 of Pentacles here, she is making a potion, or she's baking, or she's cooking. Maybe it is like actually creating something with your hands, or maybe it is taking a professional type class so that you learn a new skill or a new software. This is putting some time in, and this is doing something physical to do that. For others of you, like the physical part, right? It's really crazy how when you do something physical, how it really helps your mind. When you know, just go kill it in a spin class or a Zumba class, or, you know, go lift weights. I know people who love to do that. BJJ or Brazilian, yeah, BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So where to focus is, you know, putting in some work. But it helps when you know your direction. It helps when you know where you're going. Because I kind of feel like with our 3 of Swords here, you may have been going in the wrong direction for the wrong reasons. Let's look at an obstacle. What is an obstacle for you? We've got the Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune, I'm just going to say it's an obstacle for everyone. So this is just normal ups and downs that life throws at us when we have a monkey wrench. The wonderful thing about the Wheel of Fortune, when we couple it here with this 8 of Pentacles, is kind of like, you know, so many times we feel like there's just so many things that are out of our control. And when we try to control the uncontrollable, that's when we run into problems, and that is where we're going to get overwhelmed, that's where we're going to just get like be run ragged. So when I see the Wheel of Fortune here, it is kind of almost damage control for me, because everybody has ups and downs. So it is how you, I don't spin it, is what's coming in. It's how you spin those downs. And we have all known these people who have like, who are going through an actually like a pretty good time, and all they can do is complain about it. And then we know those people who are like, man, down on their luck, and they just power through it and make the best of it. And that's kind of what the Wheel of Fortune is. It's making the best of the downturns, and when we're flying high, not to get too crazy about it, and understanding that, you know, there's just control the controllables, and there's just some things that, you know, we can't control. Control is an illusion on some parts, and sometimes you know, our fortune, our luck, it will turn eventually. When I have got the Eight of Pentacles here though, I kind of feel like when you have your mind right and you're releasing your past, that is when you take your luck into your own hands. You make your own luck. So the next step, and right away we get our Hermit. Look at this. There is, even though we're kind of doing the same thing here in our Four of Swords and our Hermit card, there is a shift. This Hermit is very purposeful. This Hermit is very thoughtful. This Hermit is thinking of herself and her journey and her future, and she's bringing wisdom in, and she has an idea and she is working on it. Look at this, is being thoughtful and purposeful in her journey and what she's doing and what she's trying to accomplish. The Hermit card is you know, lighting your own light, following your own direction. You're not following the crowd. I think that's what got us in trouble here with the Three of Swords. If somebody hurt you or broke your heart, it was probably because you may have given them qualities they didn't actually have. You may have thought, well, you know, on paper, this is the perfect person for me. This is the type of person my parents told me I should date. This is the type of person that, you know, I should be with, because there's just, but is it really? We need to shift things back to the Hermit, not what society is lining up for you, but what are you lining up for you? This is very individualistic here of starting to turn this around and thinking about yourself. I think you've been thinking about a lot of other people that might have led into this chaos here of the Wheel of Fortune, because when we get other people involved in what we want to do, that puts the brakes on our goals real quick. So the Hermit is following her own light. Usually it's an old man with a lantern. And the great thing I think about the Hermit is, you know, when we're seekers, when we don't quite know what we want or where our journey is going, and we're very thoughtful about it, we become finders. And the Hermit is a major arcana card. This is a major power. This is you not being concerned about the masses, not being concerned about what society says. This is you following your dreams, you following your heart, you working on what you want to work on. And then this light is kind of like a guiding light for others. This is a beacon of light. This is also kind of thinking with your heart, and it's hard to think with your heart when you have a heartbreak. So this is what we're working on first, and then we're going to start asking our heart where we want to go and where we want to put work in. Our destination, where is all this leading? I'm just laughing because we get the Two of Swords here. You're going to hit the target. You're going to hit it exactly where you want to go. And I'm kind of laughing because the Two of Swords is usually it's a choice. Sometimes we're not making that choice because, you know, we've got a lot of maybe chaos going on. We've got a lot of like expectations from other people going on. And I mentioned like our head and our heart. This is a head over, or this is a heart over head decision. Now she has a blindfold on and she's just throwing things at the wall to see if they'll stick. Now imagine, and she hit the target here. Imagine how powerful you are when you open your eyes, when you let go of that blindfold. And to me, it's interesting because we've got eyes closed, eyes closed, eyes closed in 3 of these cards here. I think that you need to spend some really good quality time with yourself and your heart and open your eyes to what it is that you really want. You know what you want. Sometimes we're afraid to make the decision of what we want because, again, we have got the societal pressure. We think that it's not going to work out. We think that the deck is stacked against us. We think we don't have luck on our side. But you're going to make your own luck, remember? Control is an illusion. Control the controllables. Make your own luck. But you can't do that until you're really in touch with what you want and when you're not living your life for other people. So your journey is going to depend on allowing yourself the time to heal here and then choosing where you want to go, because it is wide open. Whatever choice that you want to make when you have your eyes open, you're going to hit that target and it's going to be amazing. So that's what I have for you, group 2. I hope that you have an amazing day. Thanks for being here with me, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, group 3. We have the tiger eye, we have the number 3, and let's take a look at this path, right? Where is your path taking you? So the first card that we're going to get out is you. We have the 6 of Swords. So I'm going to talk about this particular card within this deck, but I'm also going to tell you what the 6 of Swords means. And as you can see, we are rowing away from something. It is about movement. So it looks like you are ready to go on your path. You're ready to go on your journey. You're ready to leave something behind. Swords is a card. Swords is a suit of thought, but there is definitely an emotional component to it that you're protecting yourself from, because we've got this water. Now it actually looks pretty beautiful day. A lot of times we've got, it doesn't look so nice, but this is from Greek mythology. This is Danae and Perseus. The 6 of Swords represents leaving behind tumultuous waters for a future that is calm and promising. After being imprisoned by her own father, Danae and her young son Perseus escape. Perseus will eventually grow to defeat the Gorgon Medusa, which I have my own ideas about that because I think Medusa is probably... Anyway, I like Medusa. We'll just say that. And but he defeats her, and that's like an impossible task. So they have a bad path that they're moving away from. We're healing, we're moving forward, we're looking for stability, escape, and we are taking a journey. So you right now, it looks promising, it looks good, but you're moving probably because you were uncomfortable where you were. So we are moving towards something better. We're hoping for something better. We're gonna do what is the dark horse or a distraction over here. What is pulling you away from this movement? What is taking you away from your path or journey? What is a distraction? And this is interesting. We have the 5 of Swords. It's interesting because it definitely can pull us away. We have maybe fighting. A lot of times with the 5 of Swords, it's kind of like we lose it's also interesting because we've got, 5 and 6, right? But we go from like, you don't have to show up to every fight that you're invited to. Sometimes you might win the battle but lose the war. And I feel like there's a lot of social media, like these cards that came in. with their meanings way before social media existed. But I feel like there's a lot of Five of Swords energy in social media. I posted something today on a community forum on Facebook, and I was asking for something, and somebody didn't even answer my question and came out with something really negative like right away. I could have reacted with, we have control over how we react. We don't have control about other people. So again, like I could have reacted with something really mean or snarky, but instead I was like, oh, I appreciate your perspective. That's not how I see it. And then move on to clearer waters. Sometimes, this is a little bit more difficult fight to get out of, because like we have here in this Egyptian mythology, we've got Osiris, Set, and Isis. This is Isis crying. The Five of Swords represents a fight won through deceit. Set overthrows his brother Osiris and is seen gloating over his brother's inconsolable wife Isis, while Set represents a tyrant of a victor. Isis is a defeated combatant she'll eventually go and defeat him. It's interesting that in both of these fairy tales, like in the future, the person who was wronged is going to go back and defeat something. They're going to go back and they're going off right now, and they're maybe not in the best mental space, but at some point Isis is going to come back and defeat Set. We have Perseus. He is going to come back and he is going to take down Medusa. Sometimes we have to surrender. So it's interesting that this is the card though that we have as a distraction, because I feel like, you want to move on, but there are people who are calling you back into this battle. You need to let that go. Again, like I said, like I appreciate your perspective, but that's not for me. And sometimes it's really hard, especially if it's somebody who knows you and they know your buttons and they know which buttons to push. Sometimes we have to make a decision to let something go, to release it, to fight another day from maybe a position of more power, or maybe a position where we are more in control of our emotions. It's kind of what we got going on here. Let's talk about the light horse. What takes you to where you want to go, your desired goal, and what will bring you to success and focus. So we already kind of discussed that, but is there anything else we need to know about that? We get the Queen of Swords. Look at all of these swords cards. Swords. So you have a lot of thought going on here. I'm just going to pull these in and I'll eventually push them out, but I want to see them here. It's interesting to me what an emotional component there is behind these swords cards, because swords is really about our thought. It is about the things that are rolling around in our heads. And I kind of feel like for you, the only thing that can defeat you is just allowing somebody to get in your head and defeat you. When we've got the Queen of Swords here, like she is pretty amazing. She's probably one of my favorite cards, but she is not playing. She is not at all. She is not allowing this over here at all. She has her boundaries. She draws her boundaries. She believes in herself. There's a lot of confidence here, and she is a warrior. This particular card is a representation of a fairy tale out of China. Ternadot. The Queen of Swords is a fierce and exacting force. Ternadot does not forget betrayal, so her judgments, while fair and principles, seem brutal and cold. Still, she is open-minded and intelligent and can be charming and witty when she chooses. When we have her come out, she talks about protection. So protecting yourself, I think, is what's really important here. I feel like there's somebody or maybe a group of people who want to bring you into some emotional turmoil. And when we have the Queen of Swords, this is saying, nope, not today, Satan. Putting up those boundaries around yourself. Giving yourself maybe time to heal from whatever has happened here, so that you can become this badass that you are. Remember when we talk about, she's open-minded, she's intelligent. Swords is about intelligence, but it's also, again, we have these emotional components, this emotional intelligence too. She knows when to exact revenge, and she knows when to distance herself when it's not even worth it for her anymore. So protection, meaningful criticism, tough love, skepticism, intelligence. I think skepticism is pretty important here in the Five of Swords. I think there's a lot of things that people say or do just because they want to be a troll and want to be mean or rude. And it's important to be skeptical. It's important to trust your own intelligence. I think that might be important here, especially when we have so many swords going on. Remember, queens, they create. So she creates her intelligence. She is very confident and she trusts in herself. And that is what is going to move you forward or move you to your goal. Again, that those boundary settings, not allowing somebody who's putting you into this emotional turmoil to even have access to your mind, to even have access to tell you things. Let's talk about an obstacle to all of this. We get the Page of Wands. Finally, another suit, right? Wands are about creativity. Pages are about new beginnings. So it might be hard for you to start something new. It might be hard for you with creating new things. And I think pages, even in and of themselves, even when we're not asking about an obstacle, pages in themselves are kind of an obstacle because they don't really know what to do. Whenever we're on a new path or a new journey, we start a new job, we want to switch jobs, we're in a new relationship maybe. We don't know how it's going to end. We don't know what to expect. When we're around new people, we don't know how they are. So, and I also feel like when we have pages and it's in kind of a position like this where it's an obstacle, there's a lot of times when we don't want to feel like a fool. And we're going to be, especially when we start something new. This Page of Wands, fairy tale is out of the Congo, the Republic of the Congo. It is a Nyajan mythology. Mawindo is the name of this character here. So the Page of Wands represents a childlike optimism and carefree rebellion. For Mawindo, every situation is made fun by the swish of his magical fly swatter. He makes many enemies, but just as many friends who help him through his journey. So I feel like you're allowing the enemies to win over here, the naysayers, and sometimes they get that attraction from those people who tell us we can't do something when we're like, hey, I want to climb Mount Everest, just all of a sudden, and you're all excited about it, and then people are like, it's that meme, like, Mount Everest is littered with the bodies of why did that come out of my well-meaning people or exceptional people, things like that. So sometimes you're kind of bait almost out here for people who want to be very negative. And that might be kind of what the obstacle is that you are like this, you show this childlike exuberance and this like lucky go, this, and then people are like, no, you can't do that. And that's kind of what you attract when you're, have so much playfulness and charisma and you're trying to discover new things and you have this enthusiasm. Now, this is, I think, a beautiful quality. But sometimes when we allow it, life can beat us down a little bit. So it's about trusting in yourself and allowing it. And I love like the combination of these two cards, of like you're showing your playful exuberance, you're all excited about something, and then somebody's like, well, you can't do that. And then you like switch into this Queen of Swords energy, like, don't tell me what to do. Because I feel like you have that in you if you tap into it. And that might be what it takes here. Your next step, what is the next step on this path that we've got going here? And our next step is we've got the Knight of Swords. Look at all the swords, another sword. So knights are about movement. Your next step is just to get going, is to move out there, to push forward, to keep it rolling. And the Knight of Swords can be a very swift energy. This is a legend, it's a Malaysian legend. Hung To, the Knight of Swords, is a strong and assertive warrior. Hung To, an intelligent soldier, is unafraid of leaping into battle and employing unconventional techniques to win. He is rebellious, loyal, and a fierce companion. When we have him come in here, it's about intellectual bravery. So we've got a lot of intellectual things going on, but like here, maybe not so intellectually brave. Maybe there's people who are making you question what's going on, or questioning what's happening. These cards here, which is where we're moving forward in this path, on this journey, is you believing in yourself and you having confidence in yourself, and your confidence are in your ideas. You know that when you have a new idea that you're not going to know what to do with it or where to go with it, and you might be a noob. But that's okay, because you're only a fool once. Don't worry about what the naysayers are saying. Don't worry about the negativity coming out here, because if you allow that to stop you, you're not going to grow and progress like you're supposed to over here with the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Swords. So this intellectual bravery, being brave with your thoughts, trusting in yourself, confidence, and being action oriented. Don't be afraid to take action. It might be the wrong step. Don't let that hold you back, that it might be the wrong step. It's still a step. And if it is a wrong step, there is no wrong steps. We'll just say that. If it's a wrong step, you learn something, and you learn how to, navigate back onto the path that you're supposed to be. There's calmer waters ahead. And the final card is your final destination. And we've got the Star. Beautiful. I love the Star card. It's one of my favorite cards. It's about hope. It's about trust. It's about believing. Sometimes when we're on our journey, we lose things. And that's okay. It's okay to lose things. It's okay to let go. It's okay to release. This particular Star card is from a Russian fairy tale. She is the sister, I can't pronounce her name. We'll call her Allie. The star is a symbol of hope after a disaster. The need to remain positive after misfortune, to remember that things can get better again. It is staying calm and open to future possibilities. It is seeing your situation with open eyes, mind, and heart. It's about hope, serenity, inspiration, insight, spirituality. When I see the Star card, not necessarily, this one with the fairy tale, I think of Carl Sagan saying that we're made of star dust. We're made of the same elements that stars are made out of. It's crazy. I kind of feel like when we've got the Five of Swords and the Six of Swords here, like that negative piece has already happened, and we are just moving forward from that. And I just feel like when we've got the Stars, a major arcana card, it's your only major arcana here. It's the major energy. It's the major takeaway here from the reading is to keep moving forward. That we do have ups and downs. It will get better again. Keep your vision clear. I also think that it's really important of these two stories here, when we had the Five of Swords and the Six of Swords, that we've got two figures here who come out victorious after moving away from a negative situation, after so much loss. And then we have the Star card talking about, building ourselves back up after a loss. And we've got your mind to kind of like look back on, or to use, to lean on. So that's what I have for you, group 3. I love that we end with the Star. We have hope. Keep moving forward. Keep trusting in yourself. Trust in your confidence. Sometimes you're not going to want to look like a fool, but you know what? You're probably the only one looking. And if there are other people looking, who cares? They're trolls anyway. You're going to defeat them. They're only like naysaying or telling you negative things because misery likes company, and they see this beautiful bright path that you're on. Maybe you don't quite fully see it yet, although look, there it is. This is how beautiful we have things going here. The confidence, the trust that you should have in yourself and your intellect. This is what somebody who sees before you, and they just want to drag you down because they're not focused on their own shit.